Hello students, in this lesson let us study about the subsurface drainage. So in the previous lesson we have already studied about the surface drainage and we have seen the each subheading that we have to study in the surface drainage. Now we have to go for the subsurface drainage. So normally because of the development of science of soil mechanics, we have seen that the increase in the moisture content of soil beyond a certain limit will lead to the decrease in the strength of the soil, right? It is therefore very necessary to have a very efficient subsurface drainage system for keeping the pavement surface in a very good condition. So about the subsurface drainage of the airport, we have to study it under the following 6 headings. The first one is the functions of the subsurface drainage. Second in the changes in the moisture content. Third is the base course and the subgrade drainage. Fourth is the intercepting drainage. Fifth is the drainability of soil. And the sixth is the methods of subsurface drainage. So let us start studying one by one. So first one is the function of the subsurface drainage. There are basically three important functions of the subsurface drainage. The first one is that it has to intercept, collect and remove the water that is flowing either from the springs or from your previous stratas. The second function of the subsurface drainage is to lower the groundwater level beneath the pavement. Okay, and finally it has to remove water from the base course. So these are the three main important functions of the subsurface drainage. Moving on to the next one, it is the changes in the moisture content. Normally there will be change in the moisture content of the subgrade soil because of various reasons or various causes. Some of them are because of the movement of capillary water. The second one is because of the percolation of water into the subgrade through some cracks in the pavement surfaces. Right. The third one is the seepage of water into the subgrade from the higher ground which is adjacent to the pavement. The next one is the raise or fall in the level of water table. Next, the fifth one is the transfer of moisture. This transfer of moisture can be either from or to the soil in the verges as a result of difference in the moisture content. Also, the transfer from or to lower soil layers by suction also can happen, or the transfer of water vapors through the soil. So all these transfers can happen, and because of which there will be change in the moisture content of your subgrade soil. Right. Moving on to the next point that we have to understand is the base course and the subgrade drainage. Normally, your base course or subgrade drainage is required for us to be given in the following three conditions. Right. The first condition is that if your groundwater is expected to raise to the level of base course. So if your groundwater is going to the level of base course, then we have to provide the sub drainage. Right. The second is if the pavement is subjected to frequent undulations, or if your subgrade is very highly impervious, then also we have to go for this. right? And finally, the third one is if there is chances for any frost action that will occur beneath the pavement. Normally, the base courses are drained using your subsurface drainage, which is adjacent to or parallel to the edge of the pavement. And the subgrade drainage is desirable at places where the water raise beneath the pavement to less than around 30 centimeters below your base course. So if water is going to that level, then we compulsory need the subgrade drainage. And the subgrades are normally drained by installing pipes along the edges of the pavement, and in some cases where the groundwater is extremely high, we have to provide it underneath the pavements. Okay, next one is your intercepting drainage. So at places where the subsurface water from the adjacent area are seeping towards the airport pavement, the intercepting drainage becomes very, very highly desirable. So where exactly are they desirable? Where the subsurface waters from adjacent areas are entering the or seeping towards the airport pavements. Normally, it is very, very important that we have to do a proper investigation before providing or locating the intercepting drainage. So we can provide the intercepting drainage by means of open ditches which are placed far away from the pavement area. Suppose if this is not possible, we then have to go for the sub drains of 15 centimeter dia, and this should not exceed a length of 300 meters. So this is how we can go for your or provide the intercepting drainage. Next is the drainability of soil. So some types of soil, say like your gravelly sand or sand and sandy loams, these are usually self draining, so we will require a very little amount of subsurface drainage in these cases, right? But if we are going for clay looms, sandy clay looms, or certain types of silty looms, then your subsurface drainage is very, very, very important. Normally, the percentage of sand which is available in the soil will help us determine how drainable the soil is or no. If there is very high percentage of silt or clay in your sand, then providing the subsurface drainage will become very, very difficult, or it will be very, very problematic. Okay. Finally, the last thing that we have to study is the methods of the subsurface drainage. Now we have understood when exactly we have to go for the subsurface drainage, right? But what methods we have to adopt for providing the subsurface drainage is an important study we have to make. There are three methods. The first method is the methods to control capillary raise. The second one is the methods to control seepage flow. And finally, the third one is the methods to lower the water table. Now we will in detail discuss each one of the method. So when there are chances of water to reach the level of subgrade through the capillary raise, it becomes necessary to arrest such action by providing suitable capillary cutoff between your subgrade and the highest water table. When the construction of pavement in MBAC is in progress, the capillary cutoff may be provided in two ways. So these are the two ways or two methods through which we can control the capillary raise. The first one is we have to insert a impermeable layer between your pavement surface and the highest water table. So normally this layer will be your bituminous layer. Okay, and the second one may be by providing a layer of your granular material between the pavement surface and the highest water table, and we have to make sure that this has a proper thickness so that there is no way of this water table to reach the pavement surface. So this is what the two methods by which you can control your capillary raise. Next one is the methods in which you can control the seepage flow. So if the ground is sloping and the seepage zone is of a depth of about say 60 centimeter to 90 centimeter from the edge of the pavement, the preferred drainage pipe with filler material is provided. See, if you observe here, there is a pipe, perforated drainage pipe, right? And there is a filler material. So in order to stop this seeping water from here to enter this, okay, so if you observe, this was the original seepage line. Now because of this, what will happen, this filler material will try to take and perforated drainage, and this will be the route of your seepage water. Okay, basically this will lower your seepage line. The trench of the lying drainage pipe is kept above the sloping impervious layer. Okay, so this is your sloping impervious layer, you can see here, right? This is one of the method. And if the pavement is partially in cutting and then partially in embankment, see here this is totally in cutting, right? Here this pavement surface is partially in cutting and partially in embankment. So here you can see this side cutting, and here you can see this side the embankment. So in this case, the seepage flow can be arrested on the cutting side of the perforated drainage pipe, and the water can be disposed of through your cross drain pipes on the sloping ground. So if you observe, they have cut here, right? They have made this perforated pipe along with a filling. So this is where the seepage line has been lowered, and we have provided side drains with perforated drains. So these are nothing but your cross drains, which you can see. If you see, observe, this water level or the seepage level has reduced below the pavement surface. Okay, so this is one of the method of controlling the seepage flow. The next one is, or the third method is by reducing the water table or lowering the water table. Now, in order to bring down the level of water table from your pavements running in flat country with low embankments, the longitudinal surface drain or pipe drains are placed below the surface of the ground in the permissible saturated stratum. So normally what will happen, the pipe drains may be vitrified clay with open joint butting against each other, or they may be perforated at top. So they may also be constructed of cement, concrete or brick masonry with covering of the perforated sheets. So the longitudinal pipe drains may be laid on both sides of the pavement. You can see here in the figure. So this is the longitudinal pipe drains. On both sides of the pavement you have placed it, or you can place it at the center of the pavement. So here you can see on both the sides, right? Here you can see on the center of the pavement surface. Depending upon the moisture condition, you can use it. Again, you will have a filler material, and then there will be a clay ceiling. If you observe, this is the original water level. Now it has reduced after giving this setup, it has reduced to this level. Same with this. Okay, this is the level and it has been reduced. So these pipes are placed in the trenches. When placed on side with proper slope, and they discharge the water into the surface drain. So if only by providing the longitudinal pipe drains, if it is not possible for us to reduce the or lower the water table, then what we can do is we can go for the transverse drains. So if you can observe, this is your transverse drain. Okay, so this will also so if you see, this is in front view. If you see in cross section, the transverse drain will look like this. Right, from here it will flow on to your longitudinal pipe drain. Normally the transverse drain lines are given at 60° from your original line. Okay, so this is how it will look. And also we have to make sure that we provide a suitable slope. Angle, as I told you, is 60, and they are staggered in plan. We have to provide them in staggered plan. Normally you can place them somewhere around 6 meter to 20 meter depending upon the moisture condition. So this is about the three methods of providing the subsurface drainage. So hope the entire lesson regarding the subsurface drainage is clear to you now. Thank you.